Something I've been thinking about is, as an indie filmmaker, how many projects should I have on the go, no matter what stage they're in? It's a difficult one to answer. First, let me say a big thank you to Thomas and Jamie for buying me a coffee. It isn't just the coffee, it's the words of encouragement that you gave me to keep going as well. So I really appreciate that. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee, there's a link in the description below. So, how many projects should you have going? I have a number of projects ranging from completed scripts. I'm just talking about features at the moment. Completed scripts. I have two that I think are ready to shoot. I have one which is being rewritten, which should be ready in a couple of weeks, I think, or maybe less from last I heard. And I am working with writers on one, two, three or four. Three or four feature screenplays as well. And I have three other ideas that are in sort of very early stages of being written, or I'm working with a couple of writers who I'm out of touch with, and because I have these other projects, we've kind of let that communication slide, which is okay, because if it was a big thing for either of us, we'd be upping the ante. But of those three that are in the background, one I'm going to write myself. I've tried to write it as a series and a short film and a feature. I've got someone else to help, but they couldn't work it out really. So to be back on my plate, and so I've kind of put that in the background. The other two are one I contacted a very long time ago and said, no time pressure, just do it where you want. So I'm not too worried about that one. And another one, the third one, is someone who's moved halfway around the world and has a plate full of their own stuff and their own writing at the moment. So I'm definitely not pushing on that. But when I hope to meet up with both of those people next time I'm in their part of the world. So I think that would be the catalyst. So, and they have lots to do. I have lots to do. So, Okay, so how many should you have? So what's that? I've got 3 ready to go, and I think it was 4 being worked on with writers. And it seems like quite a lot, but I don't think it is really. I think it's probably a good amount because, there's lots of time when you're not doing anything. So it's good to have projects to work on, just from a psychological point of view. Keeps you active, keeps you creative, and I think it's really important to have a variety of projects. That doesn't mean if you just make horror films that you can't build variety into that. You could have comedy horror, slasher horror, mockumentary. You can do all different flavors of horror. And the reason I say that is because I have a sci-fi and a drama, not survival, what's the apocalyptic kind of script. I have a very intense drama. I have Um, a sort of a sci-fi, another sci-fi kind of one. Uh, and it's, oh God, the other ones have just vanished from my mind. Oh, like a thriller type. So I have a variety of genres and stories going on. And I think that's really important. As I say, mine are across genres, but even if you focus on one genre like horror, have some flavors within that. And I think you never know when the opportunity is going to come. So you could be sitting next to someone who's got a few pennies that loves sci-fi. So you might get some investment opportunities there. Or you might be at a film festival and bump into someone from a production house that this year all they're doing is family dramas, and you have one of them in your back pocket. So I think it's good to be ready. Doesn't mean you have to have finished scripts, but have something to talk about, because it's really, really tough making indie film. So being as ready as you can for when an opportunity may arise, I think is a good way to go. Bollocks. I think I have to start again. As well as having a variety of projects, I think it's a good idea to have a variety of budgets as well. And I don't mean having some projects which would be more expensive to make, because that's just the way it would be anyway. So you could have some that are, like if you have some crazy sci-fi futuristic film, then there's going to be costs there that aren't going to be in a family drama, for example. So having a range of budget levels, but not just across your projects, within each project. Because, in a perfect world, you would get the actors you imagined would be great to play the roles. You would get those exotic worldwide locations to shoot in, and etc., etc. So, but, that may not happen. So having your ideal budget and a couple more layers of budget, I think is a great idea, because at the heart of it, it's about the script and the story. So if you get that right, there are plenty of fantastic actors out there who could do a great job with your story. They don't have to be A-listers to do a good job. And you could come up with a wonderful movie. Because as I've said before, that in my opinion, even though I think, if I'm the director, and any director will think they're really important to the process, and of course they are, but if you have a good story, i.e. good script, and good storytellers, i.e. good actors, as I've said before, you get those two things right, you are a long, long way down the path to making a good movie. So, have different budget levels, and I think that will help. Because you don't want to be in the situation where, you're sitting in your rocking chair and you're 95 wishing you'd made that movie. So if someone gives you, a chunk of money, or, however you come across it, and it hits, your low budget level, you have a choice to make. Do you keep pushing for more money to get to your more desired budget levels, or you just give it a go? I mean, maybe you do both. Maybe you try for more, but at some point you decide, you know what, I'm just going to make it. And it's a difficult decision to make. And there's different schools of thought about all this. But I think if you get the opportunity, do it. Because by making things, you're proving your worth. And in a project like that, if it turns out well, everybody involved gets a tick. Whether you're the cinematographer or actor or sound or makeup or costume or the director, everybody. Because people look at it and say, look at that film. That was a fantastic film. And they did it all for, not much money. So, wow. Imagine what they could do if we gave them a whole pile of money. So, I mean, that's idealistic thinking, but you know what I mean. Get it done, get some runs on the board. Even if, this is my personal view, even if, you had someone saying, here's X amount of money for each of several films, and it's your low ball budget for all of your projects, I'd be tempted to just make them. And then after that, if you want to try and get more money, because the more you're doing, the more you're making, the more you're out there, people can see what you do. So this week I did an audition for a feature film, so fingers crossed about that. It will be shooting in a country I've never been to before, so I always find that exciting, but it's a lottery, so we'll see. I talk with a writer about a project he's going to help me with, and it's interesting talking, having just talked about different types of projects and budget levels and things. This project is by far the simplest, logistically easy, and would be cheapest to make by some margin out of all my projects. And even though that may sound fantastic, it's going to be really challenging to keep, to make an interesting film and to keep an audience engaged. So it's going to be a big challenge writing, no doubt about that. And he seems excited by that, which is good. And a big challenge as a filmmaker to have to be really creative to keep people engaged, not only in the story, but visually engaged and sound and everything. It's a situation where everything's kind of amped up from the production side to maximize our storytelling abilities, really. And a big job from the actors. And they've been patient because we kicked off this project some time ago. And there's been some ups and downs, as there always is in indie filmmaking. So it's going to be a big challenge for all of us, but that's exciting. And but the best part is when we have a script, it's not a big step to start filming. So I'm trying to control my natural enthusiasm and optimism, but we'll get there. Okay, thanks for watching. It'd be great if you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you'd like to support me further, you can buy me a coffee. There's a link in the description below. I hope to see you in the next one.